Hey y'all, welcome back to Poplar Creek Farm. I've got the lovely purple glow of the UV lights on me right now, the grow lights. But it's because I'm in my basement up potting peppers. So I actually started this last night. I just did a couple last night and I did 2 trays worth, so 64 plants that I potted, and then we were done for the night. We had already been super busy. So it's time to continue on. So I'm using 2x2 or 2.5 by 2.5 inch pots from Bootstrap Farmer. I'm using Bootstrap Farmer trays. Again, that's what I've been using. Get out of the dirt, Hunter. As my bottom trays. I am not putting in the black tray into these because, first of all, these have their holes anyway, so they're gonna drain. But because I didn't have Bootstrap Farmer inner trays, they don't fit perfectly into my Bootstrap Farmer trays, my 10 by 20 bottom trays, and it's actually really just a pain. So I'd rather just set these straight into the trays themselves. And I have water, so my soil that I'm using, which is just Miracle Grow, Nature's Care, it's the organic and natural potting mix. It is super dry, so I want them to get nice and wet pretty quickly. So what I'm doing is I'm filling these pots up about half-ish way, and then so again, I use soil blocks and I use Burpee's seed starting mix for my seed starts, and this is what they look like. These roots are obviously covered in the dirt, and this dirt really has no nutrition left in it. The seed starting mix that I buy does have a little bit of nutrition in it. But it's really still, again, just for seed starting. It's not for keeping plants big and strong. Although it did make these really good and strong. I did nourish them with fish emulsion. So what I do is I just kind of rub the dirt gently off the roots just to kind of loosen them. And then I go ahead and I place it right, it's hard to do while I'm showing you guys. Place it right in this pot. I try to make sure all the roots are down. Like so. And then I cover the top with more potting mix, and I just make sure it's not compact, but it's pushed in there nicely so it's holding that root base well, and that it doesn't allow the plant to kind of flop over. Now these plants are a little bit floppy at this point, not because they're leggy, it's just because they had outgrown their current situation and they need some new strength. And then I just set that right into my 10-20 tray. Like I said, it's got lots of water in it right now, so it'll soak up into this plant. And it'll continue to soak up into all the plants. So we're going to do this for all of the peppers. The tomatoes are not ready to pot up yet. They will not be ready for probably another couple weeks. I'm not potting them up super early because I want them to establish really nice, just like these did in this. And again, I will fertilize them, so it's not like they're going to run out of nutrients before I pot them up. And I do keep an eye on their coloring, making sure that I'm not noticing yellowing, purpling. Some of them do have purple, but that's the ones that are more purpley tomatoes. They will have that. And I'm also labeling each individual pot right now. So at this point, I'm doing Yellow Monster. My husband wrote these ones up last night for me. He was helping me down here. I got a couple left, and then I'll have to write some more. But I will probably, the tomatoes are all starting to get their first set of true leaves. Some of them are starting to even get a second set now. And that's at the point where I start to give them a little bit of fertilization. Really diluted fish emulsion. I do about 1 tablespoon, or I'm sorry, 2 tablespoons. No, yeah, 1 tablespoon. I'm trying to remember what I do. 1 tablespoon per gallon of water for the organic fish emulsion. Now, although I do sell these plants, I am not certified organic. I would love to be, that'd be awesome, but it's a process, and I think I live too close to conventional farms to ever actually be able to get certified. So, because of that, I just use, and being close to farms does not affect these plants at all, but when you are certified organic, you do have to be a certain distance, I believe, from conventional farms, because obviously they spray pesticides, they spray herbicides, all the things. And although I don't think they actually affect any of my farm products because we are surrounded by woods. There's always that potential. Oh, I think I just ripped a leaf. Yeah, I did. They were stuck together. I ripped that leaf a little bit here. That's all right. But I use all organic growing methods inside, and obviously the outside world, even if I lived right next to a conventional farm and they were spraying, should not affect these plants. We have a large filtration system on our water, and that should not ever affect these plants at all. So these plants are really tall, these yellow monsters, and I assume it's because it's a large pepper plant. It's a large pepper. And so some of them are a little bit flopping over, but I don't think it's anything due to nutrition because some of them are still really strong. I think it's more just where they were, if they were piled on with some of the other ones. And I don't know that I have any in this tray that are double planted, but I did in my other ones. So obviously if there's 2 seeds that germinated in one cell, just try to lightly separate the roots. You just kind of lightly pull them apart. And most of the time they come apart just fine. And you can easily separate them and continue 2 plants from one cell. Oh my goodness, I'm done. Now that my back is absolutely killing from leaning over for that long. I really need to get like a table. Well, I have a table down here. We just haven't moved it over to this side. So I can like either stand up or even sit at, and just, it'd be way better. But I got all the peppers up potted. I went from 5 trays to 7, and that's because they're 50 cell trays. They can fit 50 of my 2-inch soil blocks, and they can fit 32 of these 2.5-inch pots. So that's why I went from 5 to 7. There's room for 3 more cups in the back of this one, but I probably won't put anything in it. But they all look really good. I've got to raise up these top lights again. I feel like I'm raising them up like every couple days, which is awesome, but at the same time it's like, oh my goodness. The jalapenos, it was a really good thing I potted them up. They must have got overwatered the last time I watered them. They were sitting in, the soil was like sopping wet and their roots were pretty damaged. They'll come right back from it. They'll survive. They'll do fine. They'll probably thrive. But it was a good thing I got them out of that soil when I did and potted them up. So I'm going to raise up these lights and then be done for the night. I have so many tomatoes that when it comes time to pot them up, I might cry. I just might cry. Because I have about 550 of those. So I have about double, almost double what I had of these. Actually, I probably have more than double because there's a lot of them that have 2 or 3 in each one. So there's going to be a lot of potting up, but that's okay. It'll be worth it in the end. It's just tiring while it's happening. And I'm super excited to see how these do. Like I said, the tomatoes, they'll probably have another, I don't know, a couple weeks before I pot them up. I like to give them a good amount of time before I pot them up and disturb their roots. Kind of get them a good established root system before I move them. So I'm going to go put a heating pad on my back now because I am sore. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Remember, we're growing today for a better tomorrow. Please like and subscribe and join me on the next one.